So in last video we jumped from second book of Kings in the verse where the name Jehoram was mentioned. Then we understood that Jehoram means Jehovah is exalted. So if Jehovah I am is exalted, somebody has to do it. As I say, this is like a swing up and down. Sometimes Jehovah is exalted, sometimes Jehovah exalts. So I continue inquiring. Since I inquired how to exalt Jehovah, the key was given in the Psalm 69. So it's a complete example of constriction, of humility, of making oneself small in the presence of God, being recognizing our powerlessness and begging God to take us out from the depths of the water, and acknowledging that we have enemies and that no matter what we do, nothing seems to work. So after reading that passage, next day I asked again for more counsel, for more, give me something, give me some piece of bread. I asked, and then I opened again the Bible in a random manner, and I was brought to Chronicles 12:10. So what we find in Chronicles 12:10, now this is Samuel, Chronicles 12:10. It's actually the second book of Chronicles 12:10. No, this is not the one. My bad, that was first book of Chronicles. That's first book of Chronicles. So I was a little bit confused because I was given just this verse, Mishmadna the 4th, Jeremiah the 5th. So I went on and found the meaning of those two names, and the first one, Mishmana, has meanings like fatness, and it is all what has to do with fatness, abundance, and so forth, riches, abundance, fatness. And then Jeremiah that was what actually brought me to make this analogy with the swing, because we come from Psalm 69, in which David is making himself small against God, and now we are in a different position. If we look at the significance of Jeremiah, it is God exalts. Let's search Jeremiah. Jeremiah is here. Yah will exalt, or Yah loosens. So we see the answer to Psalm 69. In Psalm 69, David is oppressed. He's hiding. He's desperate. He is really oppressed. He feels like he's drowning in the mouth, in the deep waters. And right after we get then onto Chronicles 12:10, and we see the answer. We see the answer in these two words, in the name of Jeremiah, which means Yah will exalt, which is completely different to Jehoram. Jehoram is God is exalted, but now God exalts. God is exalted, and God exalts as a response to that prayer, to that act of that offering, actually, because that was an offering. The Psalm 69, that was a true offering, when David says that what he's doing, his songs, his prayer is going to be of more benefit than sacrificing ox and bulls. So then I went on. This time I didn't do the exact same thing as I did before, but I wanted to go a little bit farther. Like, okay, I'm okay with that. I will, that's a very positive message, a very positive response. God will exalt in a manner of fatness, abundance. But then I wanted to know about the Moabites, because the Moabites was in Second of Kings. That was the seed, because that's what it means, seed of the father and desirable land. So that represents our wishes, that we have plans in the land of our consciousness. And I wanted to know, where are they going to bring fruits? Where are those witches going to grow into big plants and bring forward fruits? So that's how I end up in Samuel, second book of Samuel. So if we go quick to Samuel, the second book of Samuel, and chapter 8, verse 2, then we come to this place. And he smote Moab. Who is he? He is David. What does David mean? David means the beloved one, right? He smote Moab. So he smote the Moabites, right? He conquered the Moabites. He conquered the desire. He conquered the wishes. With other words, the seeds grew up. They developed. They evolved. And measured them with a line, casting them down to the ground. Even with 2 lines measured he to put to death, and with 1 full line to keep alive. In other words, all those trees, they grew up, and David, there were so many that David could even choose which ones to keep. In other words, all those witches, they came into fruition, and he was able to decide what he wanted and what he didn't want to keep. Let's say the David from 2024 wanted to have probably a relationship, and all of a sudden he had a couple of girls or dates, and he got to choose. Say, okay, I didn't know anybody, now I know so many. I have to decide which one I should keep and which one I should dump. Or let's say he wanted to have a house, and all of a sudden he has so many houses, so many opportunities, so many offers. Or he wanted to have a job, and all of a sudden he has a lot of job offers, and he has to choose which one to pick and which one to let go, because that was the Moab. He conquered the Moab. So that's what it represents, in my understanding, the casting them to the ground, even with 2 lines measured he to put to death, and with 1 full line to keep alive. And so the Moabites became David's servants and brought gifts. So you see, it makes no sense that in a war, in a combat where the Moabites are basically humiliated. They are cast to the ground. Many of their brothers and sisters are killed, if we interpret this literally. And then afterwards, they go and bring gifts. What kind of gifts? There's misery, there's horror. There's no gifts to bring to nobody, right? But we need to understand this in the meaning of the symbolic meaning. So if Moab means seed of the father, right? If Moab means seed of the father or desired land, that represents our wishes being fulfilled by the act of David smiting them, but David conquering them, subduing them. That represents that's the moment when our wishes are fulfilled. And the gifts should be interpreted as the fruits of the tree that grew up from the Moabites. So those are the gifts that the Moabites are bringing back to David. In other words, those witches that we had, they were like seeds that were plants, and this is the moment when they grow up until the point where they can just bring forth fruits. So you can translate this to any desire that you have in your life, whether it's money, relationships, work, travel, you name it. So that is where I'm at in my development process, trying to understand the words as I had never understood before. I went through the whole book 4 times without really understanding most of the things, and I was being kind of like shocked anytime I read these passages, like David smiting people, like killing so many with that ease. Like if somebody was doing that today, we would be, I mean, the guy who did these kind of things in recent history was Hitler, and there are some other guys who did this kind of stuff, lining up people and killing them like that. But I guess we have to take the meaning of the symbolism of it and extract the best out of it, and most importantly, ask illumination to make us understand and interpret it. I might be wrong. I never went to a biblical studies or something like that. I don't have a mentor to guide me in this. I have read Nebal Goddard, and I think that has influenced me in trying to search for a different meaning in this biblical text. Yeah, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.